Hey guys, welcome back to my lab, and today's video, which is going to be my very first update for my Deck of Panning rolling project pan here on my channel. Deck of Panning is a project that was created by Emilynmax here on YouTube. I will leave her channel linked in the description box down below, as well as a link to her introduction video for 2022. This is the second year that she's been doing the project, and I decided to hop on board as many small creators join in on this trend, and I think it's really fun. I did my own intro video last month where I explained kind of the details of how the project pan works, and I selected my very first products for the project pan. I'll go ahead and link that up in the cards if you missed it and you would like to check it out. I do go into a brief description of how the project works, but it's pretty self-explanatory as you follow along. Each product that I'm going to show you corresponds to one of the cards in a standard card deck, and I will go ahead and share my updates on how I'm doing. Before we get into the video, if you're new here, I'm Yori. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Hope you're going to enjoy it, and if so, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up while you're watching and consider subscribing if you would like to be friends. Now, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get into the video. I'm really excited to share my updates with you. I almost wasn't going to be able to roll a product out, but I barely made it, and I'm so excited to draw a new card. I'm really enjoying this project. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I'm using the app GoodNotes on my iPad, and I'm keeping track of how I'm using the products. I have little pictures of them and everything. I'm having so much fun with this. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the information handy so I can reference what I want to share. The first card that I drew represented an influencer brand or collaboration, and I elected to use the Odin's Eye and Tina the Fancy Face, as well as Annette's Makeup Corner palettes. Now, because these were new palettes in my collection, and I'm also buying an incredible amount of palettes even as I go, I set the goal of using each palette twice. Unfortunately, I only had the opportunity to use Tina's palette, and I used it one time. Here's the color story for her palette, and even though it looks very bold and colorful, the look that I created was really neutral and really beautiful and really easy to create as well. I really enjoyed it. I went ahead and I used the shade Beach Sands, and then I focused on the shade Red Hills and Star Apple, and I made a beautiful neutral look. It also gave me a little bit of experience with the Odin's Eye formula, which I'd never had in the past, and I went ahead and I picked up the new palette that they just released, because at least now I've gotten to play with the formula a little bit and I feel comfortable enough to invest again. So it did have its pluses. I only used it once, but honestly I'm looking very forward to using it again and maybe working with some of these blues. It's just such a pretty color story. I'm definitely looking forward to working with it again. It's just I bought some new palettes in my collection and I want to give you feedback on those palettes, and I've been reviewing some others which involved making 3 looks 1 palette or 2 looks 1 palette, and so I just honestly didn't have enough time in order to go ahead and use the palettes 2 times each. I did hop on board this project a little bit late, so I didn't really have a full month to work on this, but I am hoping that by my next check-in I will have completed my 3 uses with these palettes. The next prompt that I had selected was for a project graveyard, which is basically a product that has been in a project before. I've never done a formal project pan, but I did have a product that I was hoping to pan because I was just running really low on it, and I had already bought a replacement for it, and it was getting old in my collection, and so I decided to bring in the Ciate London Watermelon Burst Hydrating Primer. When I first started, I was right there where you can see the mark on the product, and I thought that was going to be 2 uses, you guys. I thought I was going to use it in 2 applications and be done. No, I'm looking at my notes, I got 7 uses out of this primer, even as low as it was. And the reason for that is because, you know, I'm almost 44 years old. I will be 44 in March. And for me, with my dry skin, with everything that's going on with aging and all of that, for me, less is more. I cannot pile on a lot of products. Now, this primer is a hydrating one, which is something that I need, but it also has a little bit of tack. And so if you layer on a heavy layer of it, your foundation kind of can cake on top of it. I use a very light layer so that I apply a really light layer of foundation and it just goes really well together. So it's a primer that I enjoy, but I don't apply too much. I never apply too much of a product. I did enjoy it. It's one of my go-to primers really because I do enjoy hydration, and that slight tack allows for the foundation to adhere to my skin without me having to layer too much on top of it. So I'm very happy to report that this primer is now finished, but it took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to. 7 full uses. So I will be rolling that one out and I get to pick a new card. I'm so excited. The next prompt that I got was for the oldest product, and it could have been an oldest product in a category. So I went for my oldest foundation, and this is the MAC Face and Body Foundation, and I have mine in the shade C3. And I tried to mark as best as I could where I think I am. This is a foundation that has to be shaken really well every time you wear it. I am wearing it today again, so I shook it. So I kind of let it sit and I marked where I think the foundation is. Now, I have used this foundation now 4 times since the beginning of this project. I would have liked to have used it more, but the thing is I purchased a new foundation which I have in my Shop My Stash, and I want to report back on that one, which was the Chanel No. 1 foundation. So I want to make sure that I wear it a few times so that I can, speak on it intelligently and let you know how I feel about the foundation. On a day-to-day basis for work, I sometimes will not wear any foundation at all, and so between the Chanel foundation and this one at 4 uses, I'm pretty happy with that. But I do notice that seeing as how far I am on the bottle, this is going to be in the project for a very, very long time. It's not a chore by any means. I absolutely love this foundation. It's a joy to use. It looks beautiful on the skin. It's long wearing. It's waterproof. It's a good shade match for me. Like I said, it's the one that I'm wearing today, and I think my skin looks really nice. It's so funny, the first time I went to use it, I shook it really, really well, just because it had been sitting on my shelf for a while, and then when I opened it, all of the products started spilling out, and I tried to catch it on my little foundation mixing plate, but there was no way that I was going to be able to use that much foundation. So I felt like I was cheating somehow, even though I didn't do it on purpose. I felt so bad. I was sitting there watching the foundations spout out of the bottle, feeling like I was cheating on my project. But again, it couldn't be helped, and there was no way to put it back in the bottle because this is just a squeezy tube. Anyway, it was just funny. I'm being a lot more careful to shake it in this, kind of like this, to avoid that situation again. I will keep track of how many uses, and I will do my best to mark it as I go along, but this one is going to be in the project for a long time, and I'm okay with that. The foundation is fantastic. It never fails me, ever. Now, kind of along the lines of that prompt, my other prompt was my newest product in my collection, and at that point in time, the newest product in my collection was this Vesca highlighter. It's in the shade Moonlight, and this one comes with 6 grams of product, despite the fact that it is so small. And I actually should start taking pictures to track the progress on the highlighter. Right now, it barely looks like I scratched the surface. This one, I'm looking on my notes, and I used this one 7 times. So I have been using it for a variety of things. If I don't apply it on my face, I may use it as a brow bone highlight or as an inner corner highlight. I'm wearing it as an inner corner highlight today, and it's also the highlighter that I'm wearing on my face. So this was the newest product in my collection at that point in time, and my goal was to use it 15 times. So I'm about halfway. So I think that by next month for sure, I will be able to roll this one out and draw another card in its place. But I'm enjoying using it. It's a very, very nice highlighter. And even though it's a powder highlighter, and I usually prefer creams, I think that it has a very nice natural finish. And the shade is one that really flatters my skin tone as well. So another product that is not a chore to use, not at all. The last prompt that I had was for a hair product, and I actually rolled in the Kerastase Genesis mask. Now, this is something that I had in progress anyway. I mentioned that I use it every single time that I wash my hair with a clarifying shampoo, and you can see, maybe not so much, but I've actually hit pan on this. But even looking at it, I think that I still have a solid 2 or 3 uses for this. I have, again, kept track of how many times I've used it, and I have used it a total of 5 times, which kind of tells me that I'm heat styling my hair a little too frequently, because I use a clarifying shampoo after my hair has been heat styled, and to make the style last, I use a lot of dry shampoo and things like volumizing sprays and things like that to give my hair a little bit of fullness. And so yeah, I need to do something about that. I don't want to heat style my hair so much anymore. But either way, it's a very nice mask, and I use it after a clarifying shampoo to sort of just rehydrate my hair and strengthen it as well. So it's one that I really enjoy. I wouldn't necessarily repurchase it, at least not right away, because I have a lot of masks waiting to take the place of this one when I'm done with it. But I think 3 more uses and this one is going to be finished. So probably again by next month I will be able to roll out maybe the palettes, hopefully, the highlighter and the hair mask. The foundation this is gonna be with us all year. Alright, so Emily will rotate the game board, I believe on the 10th of every month, so it has already been rotated. I'm filming this on the 17th, so she's rotated the board and I'm gonna get my cards ready to pick a new card. I'm so excited. So I have all 52 cards and 1 joker as the project requires, so I'm gonna give these a good shuffle. I finally remembered where I got these cards. They are actually hand monogrammed for me. It was a gift from a friend in graduate school where we used to play euchre at lunch all the time. And so as a gift that year, he kind of stamped different cards with our initials, and then he put some tape over and gave us each a deck of cards for the holidays. And it was such a cute idea. But yeah, I don't know why I thought I had gotten them in a casino. Anyway, I've been out of grad school now since 2009, so what is that, 13 years? It was a while ago. All right, we are all shuffled, and I only get to pick 1, so I gotta make it a good one. So I have them all here. I got one. It's the best one, I know it. Oh, another face card. Oh my goodness. This is the Jack of Spades. So the face cards actually don't rotate. So let's see what this one stands for because I don't remember. Okay. Oh, it's fun. Okay, this is a random color generator. So I believe that you have to Google random color generator and then see what color comes up and then pick a product that is associated with that color in some kind of way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I have the Simply Posh palette still on my phone. I was filming my 2 looks 1 palette with this brand, and so I was looking up the prices and everything so that I could share that. Be on the lookout for that video, especially if you like this look. I created it with one of those palettes. Anyway, random color generator. Okay, I believe she said that as soon as I click on it, it's going to pick a color. So I'm just going to click on it and see what color pops up. Anthracite gray. Gray. Interesting. I got it. So I decided to roll in my Natasha Denona Mini Xenon palette. Look at that. There's every shade of gray here. One of these has to be anthracite gray. So I actually have been looking at the Kaleidos launch. I forget what they're calling it, but they released 2 eyeshadow quads, and one of them is very neutral and the other one is basically this. And I resisted purchasing that because I have this little palette and I figured I could use this instead. I haven't used it ever. You guys will see. I have so much makeup I have never used. This is why a project like this is really good for me. It's really helping me monitor my spending and pull products that I just hadn't thought about in a while, and I think this is going to be perfect. So this is the Mini Xenon palette, and I think this is going to be perfect to ease my desire for that Kaleidos palette. I can't wait to use it. So what kind of goal should we put on that one? Seeing as I already have 3 uses for an eyeshadow palette and this is pretty monochromatic, I'm just going to say that I want to use it twice. I think using it twice will be enough for me to use every single shade and get about as much versatility out of this palette as it's possible. So yeah, I'm excited. 2 uses for this one. I know I'm going easy on myself, but you know what? Next month we will pick a lot of cards. I'm hoping at least 2. Very exciting. That was like a great choice for me. I like it. That's everything for today's video. I will be back in a month's time around March 20th for my update and hopefully to draw 2 or 3 new cards. I hope you enjoyed this video or found it helpful in some way. If so, please let me know by giving it a big thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. I don't have a set upload schedule, so you'll also want to hit the notification bell so that you are notified every single time I upload. I do share those updates on Twitter, and I am also active on Instagram and TikTok. If you use those platforms, I would love to see you over there as well. Thanks again for spending a few minutes of your day with me. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon on my next one. Bye-bye.